up, guys, and welcome back to the Heat Check podcast. Got a lot of news to talk about. My name's Brett, of course, here with my co-host Joey. We got a lot of stuff to get into with the NBA, some series ending off, especially the NFL. Got some huge news coming out of Baltimore, potentially coming into Dallas, maybe even the 49ers or Browns. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. Of course, let's start off with the scores. LA just absolutely turning it up to another level. Their defense has been great. Melo has been seeing some signs. What about you, Joey? Do you see this game ending next game? Yeah, next game. It's 3-1 right now. So do you see this game ending next time?
Yeah, I see the series actually ending next game. I mean, the Lakers are super hot right now. There's no stopping that team, and I think they're going all the way to the finals. I'm going to go ahead and say that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's especially with the Clippers. Clippers were my favorite until Paul George decided to disappear like he always does. I thought Clippers had it because they have a better bench and everything, but Lakers are really proving it that can't say I'm surprised because it's LeBron we're talking about, but LeBron's been playing really good. But Portland, I don't know where Dame went last night. I guess he's been battling a finger injury, but he did not have all that great of a game last night. Let alone he didn't really have the same amount of minutes usually gets. He didn't put up as many shots as he usually does. But LA coming around with a 135 to 115 game. Probably series turning game right there. Probably just shifted towards the Lakers. And then speaking of the Clippers, holy shit, Luka Doncic. Oh my God. If I was a Dallas sports fan, I'd be living in a dream right now. Because Luka Doncic just proved that he's one of the best players in his at least probably the next LeBron for his generation. I mean, him and Zion are going to be dominating the league. And the thing is, Zion isn't really there when it comes to dominating. He's just got a huge future. Doncic is already there. And he is still only 21. Celtic fans, they were blowing their minds out about Jason Tatum, saying, "Oh my God, he's almost 20." But now it's actually good to say that because there's no way in hell a guy like Doncic can be doing this in his second year in the league. I couldn't imagine. It's one of those things. It's just like when Greg Oden was drafted. You're only one spot ahead of Kevin Durant. You barely missed him. But because of how big of an impact Kevin Durant had, not only just on the Sonics, but on the entire league, they missed out huge. It's like they skipped out on him and were like way behind and just didn't draft him for the next 2 rounds. So I feel like that entire effect is happening with Doncic right now to where teams, they just feel like idiots for not drafting him, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, feel bad for the Hawks. Which in either way, the thing is, Trae Young is the Hawks guy. You can't say that, they made a mistake drafting or trading for Trae Young because Trae Young is still the second best prospect from that draft class. He's playing great.
Oh, yeah.
But you talk about a team like the Suns, DeAndre Ayton, he's been playing good too, but he isn't Luka Doncic. If Luka Doncic and Devin Booker were pairing up right now, they'd still be in the playoffs. They'd be in the playoffs right now. I have no doubt in my mind. But Dallas and Clippers. I don't know where that series could go. Honestly, it's probably going to go to 7. I don't even know who to predict.
It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough
after
to call
that last
series.
game. I want to go with Clippers just because of the fact that even though Paul George has been playing bad, it's still Paul George. He's going to have that one game. I feel like that one game is going to be sometime soon. But after seeing without Porzingis, let alone without Porzingis, Luka's been able to tie this series up. It's going to be interesting. I think though Clippers are going to pull it out in 7.
My prediction is going to be a tough one to predict, man, because they're just such evenly matched teams, and I mean they both have that guy that can knock down the game-winning shot.
Yeah.
So it could go either way, but I'm going to stick
because
with
Kawhi's been playing great too. Kawhi has been playing great.
Yeah. But I'm going to stick with my original prediction and go with the Clippers in 7. I'll go in 7 just like you.
All right. Let's talk about the first sweep that we had in the series, Boston versus Philadelphia. We got a lot of talk about the Sixers later on and what they need to do, but holy mess, what a shit show in Philadelphia. I mean, Boston's a good team, no doubt. And, you out of all people would know that. But with the amount of talent Philly has, let alone they did lose to Tobias Harris in that game, but that didn't matter. They were still down 3-0 with him. Now, you could say, it's because they didn't have Ben Simmons. It doesn't matter. They've been playing like this all season. I mean, there's no way you don't make the playoffs with that talent, but Philadelphia should have been a top 3 seed. No doubt. Everyone had them going into the league. It was like, oh, they're definitely going to be one of the top teams in the East. Well, you got Miami and Indiana, better teams than the Philadelphia Sixers. And
Yeah.
speaking of Miami versus Indiana, Miami 4-0 sweep. Indiana was looking like they were going to put up a fight, and then they just fell off. It was a relatively low-scoring game, but still, Miami pulled away. You were right about that team. That team is a little bit feisty. I thought they were going to take it to 5. I thought Indiana was going to pull away with the game last night, but no, Miami's definitely going to be scary.
Yeah.
And then next up, OKC versus Houston. I told you this series was going to go to 6. I believe I said it was going to go to 6. Correct me if I'm wrong, but OKC pulled away with a win last night. It is now tied up at 2-2. Even though I feel like Houston's going to come back, probably win the next 2. I wouldn't be surprised if this series goes 7 games as well. I mean, this is shaping out to be a pretty entertaining playoffs. I don't know if Russell Westbrook's going to be able to play until the second round. I know everyone's wishing for Westbrook to play against the Thunder in the playoffs, but it's going to really burn for Westbrook if Houston loses because he didn't really have all that great playoff success over in OKC. But yeah, that series looking out to be pretty good. And then Milwaukee, Orlando, same thing with the Lakers. I mean, it's basically carbon copy between them. You got a superstar who didn't really play all that. Well, he played good, but he couldn't. His whole team didn't play good in the first game, and then they've just managed to flip the switch and play on an entirely different level. And then Utah, Denver. What are your thoughts on that series?
Utah, Denver. That's a pretty good series. I mean,
Yeah, even though Utah's been able to take away the last 2 games, they're up 3-1 right now. I I feel like Denver's still going to put up a fight. I feel like Denver's just going to bite back. I still feel like this series could go to 7 games, even though, despite, 3-1. You never know what could happen. Ever since the Cavs did that fucking amazing 3-1 story that they had a couple of years ago against the Warriors in the finals out of all times, you never really know. I still feel like Utah and Denver's going to go to 7, but I could be proven wrong by the
yeah,
time they play next time.
it's been a
And then
surprising series, definitely.
the series no one had doubts about. 4-0, Toronto sweeps the Nets.
Yep.
They're playing great. They're playing great. They're definitely one of the best teams in the league, arguably probably the best. A lot of people had doubts, but it's a crazy thing. You realize Toronto, they won their first ever ring with Kawhi, but this season proved that they weren't built around Kawhi. Like, no doubt, Kawhi definitely helped them and probably clutched them that championship. He played great. That's why he was the Finals MVP. But that just proves how talented guys on that team is. Like Kyle Lowry this season, a lot of people had their doubts about Kyle Lowry, but I feel like this season out of all, Kyle Lowry's getting the most respect I've ever seen him get. Same with Fred VanVleet. Same with Pascal Siakam. I mean, Pascal Siakam is a guy who I wouldn't be surprised making All NBA team next year. Like he's definitely filled the hole, if there even was a hole that Kawhi had there. But yeah, we got 3 teams moving on to the second round already. We got a couple of series that are really neck and neck, but it does look like some of these series are going to end by the next time they play around. But the major story is everyone's talking about is Brett Brown leaving the Sixers. Like I said, it is a shit show over there. It is a dumpster fire in Philly. I don't know how you manage to get 2 all NBA type of players. Ben Simmons, he's great. Joel Embiid, one of the arguably the best center in the league. And then you got Tobias Harris, a guy who didn't deserve his max contract. He's proven that now. I feel like they way overpaid. Josh Richardson, I like Josh Richardson. I feel like he's a good player. He was with Miami last season, right?
Josh Richardson. He just signed with the Sixers this year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was with Miami. I couldn't remember if he went somewhere else, but yeah, Richardson. I like Richardson, but they haven't been able to get anything going over there. It's really sad actually. But Brett Brown, he was a good guy for the process. He was probably the perfect fit for when they were rebuilding the whole process. But the process is over, and it's pretty much gotten to the point where you've dug yourself into a hole. Now people are considering, do you need another process? I mean, how do you think this shapes out for the Sixers?
I still think that they have potential. I don't think they're going into a complete rebuild stage again, but like
I mean, yeah.
definitely their superstars are getting kind of aggravated. And the things that Embiid's been tweeting, he's been like, hinting at
Yeah.
some stuff. He said something about this isn't even a rivalry anymore. The Celtics always kick our ass or something like that. So I feel like he's getting pretty pissed off. And I mean, they got to do everything they can to keep him there because he's the heart and soul of that team.
Yeah.
You got to keep Embiid there. But if he's trying to leave, then maybe this team's going downhill. It's definitely
Well,
going downhill. But
well, Embiid's always been a really vocal character, if that's how you want to say it. But
oh yeah,
Embiid's always really been out there. I don't know if I would go as much to say if he would leave at, like this offseason, but if the I'm saying this right now, if the Sixers do not change something else in their front office by getting rid of Elton Brand by the end of next season, or at least pulling something together, having a good season, a top 4 seeded team in the East, pull together, at least get past the second round, or get into the second round, I should say. Getting past the second round is a big achievement because, with some of the teams that are in the East. Embiid's not going to be there much longer. I really do believe that. It's one of those things where, it's kind of that situation that Anthony Davis was put in. He got DeMarcus Cousins, one of literally probably the best big man duo the league has seen in a little bit. DeMarcus Cousins, he was still playing really good until he got that ACL tear, and then Anthony Davis, they made the playoffs, but it didn't seem like the front office was all that confident in themselves or even all that enthusiastic about getting somewhere else other than getting eliminated in the first round. That's why Anthony Davis wanted to leave. That seems like it's going to happen with Embiid. Unless Philadelphia can pull something together, the only star they're going to have on their team is Ben Simmons. And honestly, at this point, they've got a lot of talent. They've got some good young players too. What's that guy? His name is Matisse Thybulle. I think that's his name.
yeah.
He's that young rookie. I mean, I could see him shaping out to be a good, maybe a third, fourth option for them. But sooner or later, I feel like Ben Simmons is going to be the only guy on that team if they don't pull something together. And it really just starts off. I feel like it starts off with getting Elton Brand out the front office. What do you think?
They definitely need some type of change. I mean, they've had such a great team the past few years and have not been able to do anything with it. So I definitely think a big change needs to be made in that organization. But we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's definitely a little shaky right there. All right, next up we got the Lakers. Of course, they've been turning it up. Bron's looking a little bit enthusiastic. What do you got on that?
Like I said earlier, I mean, I'm really high on the Lakers this year. You know how much I hate the Lakers personally, so that means a lot for me to, be wanting them to go to the finals so bad. But I'd love to see a Celtics Lakers finals. I mean,
Yeah, I mean
Lakers
that
look
that would
so
be
good right now.
legendary. That would be legendary. That
Yeah,
would
that would be great
out of
for
all the bad
basketball.
shit that's happened this year, either Toronto Lakers or Boston Lakers would be a good because like I said, I'm really high on Toronto. About how high are you
Yeah.
on the Lakers? I'm really high on Toronto. But definitely the Dream Series this year. It would be really fun to see Boston versus Lakers. Although I do feel like Lakers would have the upside because Braun and AD. It's crazy, but Boston would definitely put up a fight. They would definitely put up a good fight. I mean, I would say at least give it 5 or 6 games. I would love for that series to happen, but I feel like
First,
if
they got to
any,
get past the Raptors.
yeah, they got to get past the Raptors. They got to get past the Bucks. A lot of people ain't really been talking about them because they're the first seed. They're expected to just blow by, but Bucks are still a good team. Giannis
The
is still a
Heat,
freak.
though. The Heat, though. The
Yeah,
Heat
the
could
Heat.
definitely win that series. I
I
mean,
wouldn't be surprised if the Heat make it. I wouldn't say make it to the finals. I would say make it to the conference finals. They could do that. They really
yeah.
could. They're really well put together over there. Um, but yeah, a lot of great teams coming together and just playing their hearts out, especially with the Mavericks. As we mentioned earlier, Luka's going insane. Uh, Luka's the future of the NBA, no doubt. And we mentioned last episode that Dame could be an MVP frontrunner. Luka, now more than ever, I feel like people are confident that Luka's going to be the next. I don't even want to say the next LeBron. I would say Luka's different. I don't know what it is
Yeah.
about Luka. Luka's different. I
He's
don't feel
not
like
the
he's like
next
LeBron.
anyone. He's himself.
Yeah,
He's
he the same thing with Zion. Same thing with Zion. People don't say, "Oh, he's the next LeBron." No, LeBron isn't a freak of nature like Zion is. LeBron's athletic as hell, but he's not a freak of nature in my opinion. He's big, but he's 6'9". He's supposed to be a big. He's small forward. He's good in the post. It's not surprising that he has muscle. Zion is a guy who is like 6'6", but he's got the build of a guy who should be in the fucking world's strongest man competition. I mean, you could run. I feel like you could run Zion anywhere, pretty
yeah.
much. You can run him at power forward. Hell, he could put up at center with his fucking strength. Hell, you can even run him at shooting guard if you want to 2K cheese it. But
Yeah.
same thing I feel like is going on with Luka. I feel like Luka locked down next year. He's probably going to be an all-star captain, all NBA, no doubt all NBA first team in my opinion. It depends on where they want to place him, but I feel like he's no doubt at this point. He's definitely a point guard.
Yeah.
His passing skills are way too good for them to
He
not play
brings
him
the
at
ball
point.
up the floor, so yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like Luka at this point, even though Curry is still out there, you don't want to forget about Curry. I don't disrespect Curry. Curry's about the only guy besides Clay that I respect on the Warriors. Everyone else, especially Draymond Green, I hate his guts. But Curry's, I feel like, is still the best point guard in the league just because of what he's done. He hasn't really been able to be dethroned. But Luka or Dame, I feel like more Luka could dethrone him next year, no doubt.
Yeah. But Luka has a special talent, he's a big guy, brings the ball up the court. He's got crazy ball handling and passing skills. I mean, he's
Yeah.
just a different animal, and I see him winning MVP sometime in the near future.
I would say early as next season, probably multiple MVPs for Luka in the future. I mean, there's you cannot play like this in your second year. I mean, unless you're a guy like Gilbert Arenas who started off crazy his first couple of years and then decided it was a smart idea to bring a gun in the locker room and fuck up your entire career, get injured, yada yada yada. But it's really because when you look back at Gilbert Arenas, he was an amazing scorer. Like
Oh yeah.
look back at the stat lines. I mean, that was prime Wizards in my opinion. You got the 2016 time when the Wizards fought against Boston, took them to 7 games. No, hands down the best series of that year. And then you got around the time that Gilbert was doing his thing in the Wizards. Those were the two last times Wizards were really in their prime. Pretty much since Wes Unseld existed,
A lot of
which
people
which
say
is
that
really sad.
Arenas was Curry with a high vertical. That's how
Oh
he played,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, Arenas was faster. He was once again, a better inside scorer. But I mean, Curry's the best shooter. He's done so many things with his shooting. You can't even argue it. But yeah, a lot of shit coming out of the NBA. A lot of things to look at. Sixers really in the limelight, but another team that's in the limelight, Dallas Cowboys. Moving on to NFL next. All right, so next up, NFL. A lot of news coming potentially for Dallas, especially out of Baltimore. A lot of stuff's going on, especially with Earl Thomas. We'll get into him later, though. As usual, we're going to be doing 2 top 10s every week. We might have an extra top 10 as it gets closer, but this week we got linebackers and wide receivers. The off-ball linebackers were a little bit hard. We're a little bit hard to do because there's a lot of talent right there. You don't really know because some people have more potential. Some people are just playing all that great. Wide receivers for me, it wasn't really who to put in there. It was who to rank. But Joey, we'll start off with you. Linebackers 10 through 6.
At 10, I got the 49ers, Fred Warner.
Mm.
It's pretty high for him, but I mean, he played pretty good last year. Definitely made some big plays in the Super Bowl. You can't leave him out.
I like Warner. I really like Warner. He's a really good coverage linebacker.
And
Insane.
yeah, at 9, I got someone that's really underrated. That's not really talked about a lot. He was on the Patriots last year, and now he's on the Lions. We got Jamie Collins. Really good coverage linebacker. He can rush the QB sometimes too. I mean, but he's
He's
mostly
got good
known for his
speed. He's
coverage.
got some
Yeah.
wheels behind him.
Oh yeah, he's really fast. Good coverage linebacker. He can get through the line too if he needs to. I got him at 9. Gonna have a good year with the Lions this year. 8, I got the Falcons' Deion Jones. Really quick middle linebacker. Definitely is gonna get some picks this year. He's probably one of the stars of that defense. I mean, their defense is
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
Falcons. It's all right. It's not that great, but
I can't really think of anybody else on their defense other than Deion Jones.
yeah, he doesn't have much help. So
Besides from their
he's
rookie, I can't think of anyone else.
yeah, him in the middle. He's patrolling that defense.
Yeah.
And at 7, I got Corey Littleton. I mean, he's he's proven a lot. He had a pretty good year last year. And this year I see him improving a lot. I mean, you could switch him and Dion whichever way you want to, but
Yeah.
above him I got Jalen Smith. He's set to
Like
have a pretty
that.
good year. Pretty
I
good
like
year
that.
this year.
All
Good. He's
right.
a good coverage linebacker.
I'm surprised you didn't have a couple of names. Well, not really a couple. Yeah, a couple of names up there. I'm surprised you didn't have. I did not put Jamie Collins in my top. And who was your 7 again?
Littleton.
Littleton. I did not put him. I really debated putting them on my list, but at 10, I'm gonna start off with C.J. Mosley. Even though he's getting old, I like C.J. Mosley. I feel like is still a top 10 linebacker. He'll probably get overtaken by, I feel like if anybody, Corey Littleton, because I didn't even know this. He's on the Raiders now, so he's definitely going to be the star of that
Yep.
defense. At 9, I have a Cowboy, Leighton Vander Esch. Do not forget this dude had an insane rookie year. He got injured last season. I feel like he's going to come back even better. LVE, he's my guy. At 8, I have Fred Warner. I'm really high on Fred Warner. Uh, I I could see where people would rank him lower than he should be, but now that there's not as much talent, and I still don't feel like there's as much talent as they could have at linebacker. Fred Warner, I feel like he's definitely going to step up. He's probably going to be one of the most improved players when it comes to on the defensive side of the ball. Probably one of the most improved players this season. He's great in coverage. He's really good in zone coverage. At
Yep.
7, I have Jalen Smith. I'm very confident in our linebacker duo. They're both in the top 10 if you ask me. Jalen Smith, he can rush the quarterback. He's not really known for it, but he's fast. He hits damn hard, and he's really good in coverage. At 6, I have Deion Jones. I debated putting him in the top 5 because I'm high on him as well because even though they had Desmond Trufant last year, Deion Jones still really carried that defense. He's once again another speedy linebacker, really good in coverage. He's not really as good of a hitter as I would say a guy like Jalen Smith, or not really as accurate as a guy like LBE, but I really like Deion. I feel like he's definitely going to have to step up, and that's going to project him into the 6th spot for me. I'm going to roll into my top 5. At number 5, I have Demario Davis from the Saints. He's a guy, it's a name you don't really hear a lot, but with how he's been playing, everyone's pretty much putting him into his top 5. And Demario Davis has been doing, once again, great in coverage. He's not the fastest, I would say, but he's fast enough to keep up. He reads the field really well. The next 3 were really hard because I didn't know who I wanted to put above certain people. But I'm going to put at number 4, Eric Kendricks from the Vikings. At number 3, Levante David from the Bucks. And at number 2, Darius Leonard. Now, all of those guys can be interchangeable. But I feel like Darius Leonard's going to have the most upside once again. Same thing with Deion Jones. He's one of the biggest names on that defense. He's really slept on, and he needs to get more respect. If I feel like if LVE wasn't injured, it would be a really close battle between them because they both came out of the same draft class. But Darius Leonard is definitely above him now. Levante David, a lot of guys have been sleeping on Levante David for no reason at all. He's doing really well over there on that Bucks defense. Again, same thing with Deion Jones, one of the only guys I know on that defense, and he has been carrying. And then Eric Kendricks, Anthony Barr and Eric Kendricks are really big guys on that defense, and Anthony Barr is kind of in the same situation as Darius Leonard. He doesn't get the amount of respect that he does, but he's not top 10. But Eric Kendricks is definitely top 10. And of course, number 1, Bobby Wagner, one of the greatest linebackers of our generation. He's amazing. He just does it all. There's nothing that Wagner cannot do.
All right. My top 5 is very, very similar to yours. I think like 1 or 2 things are switched up. I have Demario Davis at 5. I got Kendricks at 4, just like you. But I switched up. I got Leonard at 3 and David at 2. And then obviously B Wags at 1.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like, especially with Eric Kendricks, I feel like Anthony Barr might step up and Eric Kendricks might break down. I feel like if anyone's going to drop into that list, I think Jalen Smith by the end of the season could very well be top 5, no doubt. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's another one of those guys that, even though a lot of people know his names just because of his story, he had that horrible injury in college and then was drafted early. It was a gamble and that turned out well. Still not enough people talk about him, and he's damn good. Of course, I would know that because I watch him every single season. I've watched him improve and just become better and better and better. Deion Jones, of course, is always fluctuating between the top 5 and bottom 5 for me. But yeah, I mean, this list is pretty solid. I feel like both of our lists are pretty solid. Top 5 is pretty locked in for this year. Next up, we got wide receivers. Start up with you. Who do you have at your bottom 5?
I got a 10, a sleeper. I got Galladay, Kenny Galladay, Lions workhorse receiver.
Yeah,
He's a big guy. He can make plays. I see him having a great year this year.
he's a deep threat monster.
Oh yeah. And at 9, I got Stephon Diggs with a new team. Pretty good quarterback. Still has some proving to do, but he's gonna be the guy. He's gonna be the guy on that team. I mean, he's gonna be sharing some with John Brown, but he's the guy on the Bills on offense for sure.
Yeah.
At 8, I got Amari Cooper. Definitely gonna see what he could do this year with those two companions. We'll see if he still gets the workload that he needs. And definitely, you can't leave him out of the top 10. He's been great for years. Just above him, you could change it, but I got Mike Evans. I don't really know. I kind of took the gamble because we don't know who Brady's gonna like more. We don't know if
Yeah.
he's gonna like Godwin more, if he's gonna like Mike Evans more. So I kind of went with Mike Evans on the lower side because of how quick and how fast that Godwin is. I think he's gonna make some more plays, but we really don't know who
Yeah.
Brady's gonna choose. I mean, he's still got Gronk. He has so many weapons on the offense. We don't know who his favorite's gonna be. So I got Mike Evans at 7. At 6, I got Devontae Adams. Definitely set for a good year this year. I think that Rodgers is gonna be hungry this year, man. He's got something to prove because they went ahead and drafted a quarterback. So
Yeah.
that's gonna fire him up. And I mean, Adams, one of the most talented receivers in the sport, set to have a
Mhm.
great year. And I got Godwin at 5. Again, interchangeable with Evans. We don't know, honestly, who's
Gotcha.
two superstars on one team. You don't really know. And oh shoot, I actually went into 5. My bad.
No,
So
I mean they're interchangeable. So I mean, I guess if they're interchangeable, it's fine. But I'm gonna go through my bottom 5. At 10, I also have Kenny Galladay. I'm really high on Kenny Galladay. I debated putting Stephon Diggs in here, but John Brown was really good last season. I feel like that workload isn't gonna be able to keep him in the top 10. I feel like Keenan Allen's going to be in the top 10. I could also see T.Y. Hilton jumping into the top 10 because he's now got Phillip Rivers. And even though Phillip Rivers has a lot of turnovers, he slings the ball a lot. So when you got that type of guy, I wouldn't be surprised if T.Y. Hilton has a good season. At 8, I have Chris Godwin. I did rank him a little lower. I feel like Mike Evans is going to be his number 1 target. I feel like it's pretty locked in. I feel like if any quarterback, it should like Mike Evans just because of the fact that he's not as fast as Godwin, yeah, which I mean is kind of the new wave of wide receivers is fast. But then again, you got guys like Michael Thomas who aren't really all that great of a deep route runner, and they're not fast. They're just have, of course, they looks like they have good hands because they just won short routes. But Mike Evans is a good deep route runner. He's tall. He is tall as hell, and he's a jump ball machine. I feel like Godwin's definitely going to be the second option. At 7, I have Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper has been battled with injuries last year. Which sometimes is an excuse, sometimes isn't. I won't really use it as an excuse as much. He had, I think, a little bit over 1,100, which is equal to what Gallup had. But I feel like Amari Cooper, now that he's healed up, don't forget, first 16 games with Dallas, he put up, what was it, like 1,600 yards? So, I mean, he averaged 100 yards per game in his first 16 games with Dallas. So that's crazy. He's a fantasy monster. I feel like he'll be number 7. At 6, I also have Devontae Adams. I debated putting him in the top 5 only because of how good of a route runner he is. I don't feel like he's a better route runner than Cooper. I feel like where he beats him is his hands. I feel like Devontae Adams, if I throw the ball up to him, I like Devontae Adams a little bit more than Cooper. But, I'm a Cowboys fan. I still feel like Cooper. I feel some of the routes I've seen Cooper run are unlike any other. So, yeah, it's pretty much interchangeable with this whole wide receivers list. But I feel like definitely with my top 5, it's definitely no doubt for me who is in my top 5. But for you, start off with your top 5.
Well, it's actually been my top 4 because I accidentally said 5.
Oh,
So
yeah.
at 4, I got Tyreek Hill, high octane offense, best quarterback in the league. I mean, Hill, he's a shaky kind of guy. I mean, some games he does very good, some games he does very bad. So he's definitely a top 5 receiver, though. You can't leave him out because of how much of a deep threat he is, and the plays he can make can literally win you the game. And with that strong arm of Mahomes, it's just a perfect combo with that fast receiver. And ahead of him, I got D-Hop. I would have him at 2, but it's a new offense for him. And, I mean, he's got to share the workload with, Fitz, Kirk. I mean, they have a pretty good receiving core over there in Arizona. We're going to see how he blends in with Kyler Murray. But, I mean, it's D-Hop. He has the talent. You can't leave him out of the top 3 because he's proved to us that he's great. At 2, I got Julio Jones. There's not much to say about Julio. He's been doing this. I mean,
Yeah.
And then above him, the obvious. Well, not obvious. I got Michael Thomas at 1.
It's debatable. Yeah. My top 5 is a little bit similar. At 5, I have Tyreek Hill. I feel like he's proven to be more than just a speedy wide receiver. Some people were saying, oh, he's just the next Dante Hall because, of course, Dante Hall was with the Chiefs. But Tyreek Hill's got some hands. He's a better route runner than Hall was, in my opinion. And he's faster than Hall. So you put that all together, he's a beast. And, of course, he's got Mahomes. At number 4, I have Mike Evans. Jump ball machine. Already went through that last time when I was talking about Godwin. Mike Evans, I feel like he's just going to get even better, especially with Brady throwing to him. At 3, I have D-Hop as well, sharing the workload. He's definitely going to have a downer year. At 2, though, I have Michael Thomas. I feel like last year, Michael Thomas was pretty much the only receiver that I would Ted Ginn is the only other guy that they would throw to, I feel like. And that's not really a good second option. Now they got Emmanuel Sanders. That's a really good second option. Michael Thomas, I feel like, is still going to put up better numbers, but not better numbers than Julio Jones. Julio Jones has managed to put up great numbers, insane numbers some season, especially with Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is the type of guy where if he develops well enough, he could be a number 1 wide receiver on certain teams. But Julio is no doubt, in my mind, the best wide receiver. He's faster than Michael Thomas. I feel like he has better hands. And when it comes to down the field, he can run a route besides whatever the hell Drake was running in his music video. That's the equivalent of what Michael Thomas can run. But Julio, I feel like, beats him in a lot of things. Some things not as much, but I like Julio a lot more. I trust Julio a lot more.
But do you think Julio is going to put up better numbers than Michael Thomas?
Yeah. Julio has been putting. I feel like the amount of the numbers that Michael Thomas will put up are the numbers that Julio has been putting up with Calvin Ridley. I don't feel like there'll be much of a difference. I feel like Julio will do better though. I wouldn't be surprised if Julio is a Offensive Player of the Year winner. That's how good he's been.
Okay.
But, a lot of other news coming out of the NFL. Before we get into Earl Thomas, let's talk about a couple of small things. 0 COVID tests from the NFL. Great job. You didn't even have to put everyone into a fucking bubble to do it, but great job. Buda Baker. Holy shit, I feel bad for Seattle because now they got to pay probably double than that to keep Jamal Adams on their team. What was it, like 55 mil guaranteed?
It was 59, I think.
59.
For 4 years, I believe. I
mean, of course, he's the highest paid. Buda deserves it. I like Buda. He's probably more of a rising star, more than one of the better safeties in the league. He's definitely top 10, though.
Definitely overpaid, in my opinion.
Oh, it's overpaid. Yeah, which is hell for guys like Jamal Adams, that guy from the Broncos, Justin Simmons. Derwin James is going to get a huge bag. But you already know Jamal Adams is going to be like, oh, he asked for 59. I want 80. Shit like that.
Yeah.
It's that type of shit. But it's that he's definitely just insanely raised the strong safety market. And speaking of strong safeties, Grant Delpit, injury, Achilles tendon. Browns lost their big rookie safety, lost him for the whole season. Because of that, they have a hole. And who could fill that hole for the Browns? You got ET3. Earl Thomas III, I mean, he decided to have a boxing match, but it didn't really go out for him. Got him kicked off Baltimore, which you ruined your chance at probably one of the best chances to get a ring. Another one, because he already has one for Seattle. But you lost your best chance at getting another ring. I feel like it definitely hurts the Ravens secondary, but their defense is so good. They still have one of the best secondaries in the league. Their defense is so good. I don't feel like it'll affect them as much as it could if they didn't have guys like Marcus Peters or Marlon Humphrey already on the team. But big news coming out of Rappaport this morning. Some people saying Dallas could not be interested in ET3 at all. That's what he was saying. He's basically going out there saying Dallas and ET3 don't think about it. Dallas doesn't even, they're not even considering it anymore. And then Jerry Jones literally came out saying 5 minutes later, the hell are you talking about? We're still interested in him. He just became available and we haven't even called his ass and you're saying we're not even interested in him. And they got into a little back and forth or whatever. But yeah, I feel like if ET3 goes to Dallas, no doubt they're winning the division. There's no doubt in my mind they're winning the division. All right. Earl Thomas, even though he's older, he's still good. He's still really damn good. Dallas would have an improved secondary. He would be that anchor on the secondary with an already improved D-line, running a hybrid. Now, apparently, Aldon Smith might be, that guy from the Niners who played insane. Came in, and now apparently he's running nose tackle, so he could be on our D-line the same time as DeMarcus Lawrence and Everson Griffin. But the thing that I didn't get with that whole ET3 argument, it's too problematic for Dallas. Dallas doesn't want to go. How in the hell can Dallas sign a literal fucking convict in Aldon Smith for a short-term deal? What was it, like a 1-year deal, really short money, and it's low risk, high reward? But they find ET3, a guy who literally just punched his teammate. Oh, that's too problematic.
Yeah.
It's not problematic because you got a guy who made $22 million last year, and you could get him for like $5 million on a 1-year deal, at least for $5 million. That is low risk, high reward. That is the definition of low risk, high reward. Why wouldn't Dallas be interested? That's what confused me when I saw the Rappaport thing came out, and I was like, how in the world can they go from signing an actual convict to being like, oh, he punched his teammate? That'll cause locker room problems. The punching the teammate thing didn't kill it for Earl Thomas. The entire season it was killing it for Earl Thomas because he wasn't getting the attention that he needed to. Earl Thomas still played good last season, I feel like, but it wasn't good from the start, and this was just the final straw. I don't feel like Dallas will sign him, though. I do want to say that. Who do you think ET3 could go to?
Hey, you're going to hate me for this, but the amount of players that opted out on the Patriots, the amount of cap space that we have right now, you can't. Patrick Chung opted out. We need a safety.
I wouldn't feel confident at running Earl Thomas at strong safety, though. That's the thing. I like it better with Dallas because we already have HaHa. We already have Xavier Woods. We can move either of those guys over to strong safety and move Earl Thomas to free safety because Earl Thomas isn't a guy who rushes as much. He got his first career sack last season with the Ravens. He isn't that hard of a hitter. But, I mean, it could work out. I feel like if there's any team that he's going to go to, I feel like it's going to be the Niners. The Niners have showed interest, I believe. I believe they've showed interest here and there. Do I feel like he could sign to Dallas? Hell yeah. He could sign anywhere he wants to. Browns are another team that's interested. I don't see that going anywhere. But also, I feel like if he doesn't sign with Dallas, if he doesn't sign with San Francisco, he's going to be like Clowney. He's not going to be on a team for the next season, which is really going to suck. But Clowney, the season's almost about to fucking start, and you're not even on a team yet. Like,
yeah, that's surprising.
It's sad. It's very surprising. But then you start to realize maybe we're overhyping Clowney. Same thing with ET3. Maybe that's going to end up becoming a problem to the point maybe he is overhyped. Maybe nobody wants that drama in the locker room. But I feel like if there's any team that doesn't give a shit about what happens in the locker room, they just want to win, it's either the Niners or Dallas. Do you think that Dallas could sign him? And anyway, do you think Dallas is at least the number one contender?
It's possible, yeah, but I mean, you never know with Dallas because they've been the number one contender for about every damn player this
Fuck yeah,
offseason.
dude, exactly. That's the thing. Media loves mentioning Dallas just because they know it'll get clicks, but Jamal Adams, okay, legitimately, he literally said in a video he wants to come to Dallas. All right, I see why you're saying number one contender. Jadeveon Clowney, his agent came out and said his number one preference is Dallas. I understand that. Earl Thomas, he's been wanting to come to Dallas for a little while. I understand that. But Everson Griffin, I didn't think he was number one. I thought he was going to re-sign with Minnesota. And then who do we sign out of all those players who have publicly come out and say, "Oh, I really want to go to Dallas"? The guy who didn't publicly say it. Like, what the fuck? Like, props to Jerry. It seems like Everson Griffin's doing really good. He's really loving it in Dallas. But Jerry knows how to fuck things up. And just because sometimes you do good things doesn't mean I don't hate you. Because you kept Garrett around for 1 year longer than he deserved to be here. It's just it's a mess over at Dallas. If they sign Earl Thomas, I don't know how much of a mess that would be, but it's definitely something to look out for. We could be reporting on how big of an impact he could have for the fucking Jets next season. We don't know. But there's a lot of shit to talk about, a lot of shit to eye on. Earl Thomas is definitely going to be the big guy to watch. But with all of that said, guys, thank you for watching. As always, if you like the podcast, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. Down in the comments, there will be a timestamp for the NFL if you only care about the NFL or whatever. We're going to be doing that for every episode just in case you didn't know. But yeah, thank you for watching, and peace.